It's now live.
Hello, Alice. Hello, Maria. How you guys doing? Looks like we got a few other people out there that aren't signed in yet. How is your Saturday? Is it a fine day? We got our little picture-in-picture back today. Raining all day. Hello, Lizzie. What Lizzie presents? Lizzie presents. Hello. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we figured out our picture-in-picture thing, so we'll be picture-in-picture again today. That'll be nice. Well, if you gave me the thumbs up already, bless your heart. I bet that was Alice, because she always reminds everybody. Okay, you guys have your kits ready to go? Hello, Maria. Oh, look at those thumbs up. Good job, guys. Thank you.
It's 3 o'clock straight up.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started, and then we'll let other people join us as they come in. There's quite a few people. So we got that peach color going again, but hopefully that will resolve itself like it did last time in just a couple of minutes here. Not sure what causes that. Okay, we've got our kits in front of us. You got your wonderful bottle of Nouveau glue. I recommend that if you don't already have them, quickly grab yourself some baby wipes and something to polish with. I just have some little table napkins here, but something to polish with. You're going to be glad you had both of those things. If you don't have baby wipes, a little damp cloth will get you done. Not a lot of water in it though, just a little bit. So let's take a look at our kit. We're going to kind of sort it here into what we're using things for. So we're going to keep this piece. It's going to be our tabletop. We're going to set that aside for now. Be very careful when you're sorting things because there's still some little pieces loose in here too. So this piece we're going to use right away. I'm going to keep that on my table. This is the hinge. I'm going to set that aside for now in its own place. This I'm going to use now. These funny shaped pieces. These. And this one. These are part of our lid, so I'm going to set those up there. This one I'm going to use right away. I'm going to keep that with me. These are all decorative panels. I'm going to put this with my lid. This funny sawtooth thing, it goes with my tabletop, which was, as you remember, this great big piece. So I'm going to put that up with my tabletop. This is part of my lid. This is part of my lid. These sawtooth things are part of my tabletop, so I'm going to put these with my tabletop. I bet you can tell this is part of your tabletop. Both of these pieces will go up with my tabletop. This black piece and the flames are part of my lid. So I'll put those with my lid stuff. This is actually the base to my lid. I'm going to put that up there with my lid stuff. This is another of the decorative pieces that I don't need right away. I'll set those off up here. I'm going to put them with my hinge. This goes with my box. keep it here. These are decorative pieces. I'm going to put those over with my hinge. Okay, my handles and things are decorative pieces. I'll put this little packet of stuff there. I've got these, all these little things are going to go over with my decorative pieces. This is part of my lid. This is part of my box. Okay, we have a few more people in now. Hi Mary. Hi Betty. Welcome guys. We're just kind of sorting out our pieces to get started. The two pieces we're going to start with right away are going to be these two pieces. Let me show them to you. You've got this one. It's kind of just a big bulky one that has some score lines on it. And then you've got this one that's kind of more L-shaped. Those are the two we're going to start with. So, Mary and Betty, I don't know if you were in here when I recommended that you have some baby wipes and some kind of polishing cloth available. Because we have the chrome pieces, you're going to really be glad you have these. So, if you don't already have that, grab that. If you don't have baby wipes, grab just grab a cloth that's very lightly dampened to pick up any excess glue. And hi Kim R. Hi Kim and Katie. Hi guys. Nilris, hello. Welcome guys. Okay, we're going to start with these two pieces, guys. The one that looks like an L and this one here. Please be very careful when you open your kits because you have all kinds of little pieces in there. And it's very easy to drop one. This is the voice of experience speaking. Okay, let's go ahead and start with these pieces. To start with, what I'd like you to do is to fold on your fold lines. We're going to just pre-score this because it will be easier if we do. So if you take a close look, you'll be able to see where your score lines are. And we're just going to pre-score this piece. It's got score lines, and everywhere you see these tabs, there's a score line. One side, the score lines on this piece are narrow, and on one side, they're like 1/4 inch, and on one side, they're almost 1/2 inch. See that? Take your time. These score lines are important, so let's make sure we get the score lines in straight. You know, before I figured out, or I didn't figure it out, before I had my friend Margie come over and help me figure out how to make the machine put the score lines in, I was hand scoring these. We would not be offering a class if I had to hand score them again. Hand scoring these pieces was not fun. But Bryce's barbecue, when I gave it to him, was truly a labor of love because every piece was hand scored. I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to go ahead and score down my score lines. So glad to see you guys out there today. It's going to be a fun project. It's really cool. Finished up. I think you'll really like it. Lots of pieces in this one. 46 pieces in this kit. Lots of them are little accents and things though. Got everybody busy scoring, so they can't talk to me. Okay. Our life will be so much easier, though, having these pieces pre-scored. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, and you guys need to tell me when you need me to slow down. Just type stop and I'll wait. Okay? So I already knew where all the score lines were. That might mean I'm a little bit faster on that. So if you need, you don't have to type me a long novel, just type stop and I'll stop and wait. And we'll chat about something else for a minute. Because there's going to be, I want everybody to pretty much stay with me on this one. And a lot of ones you can kind of racehorse ahead and you're fine and you can kind of do what you want to do. On this one, there's a couple little trickies in it. And I want to make sure that I'm there with you to walk you through those. So let's try and stay together today. Okay, if you are ready, let's go ahead and we're going to put some glue. I'm going to show you where I'm going to glue this. I'm going to glue this in here. Now, to know which side goes up, I want you to look at your score lines, and we want the tiny score lines towards the bottom. See, we've got the half-inch score lines at the top, and I've got my little tiny ones, my quarter-inch score lines at the bottom. Okay, that's fine, Kim. We'll give you a minute. Go ahead and get those in. I know that sometimes you really have to look to find those score lines, but it's a good hint to know that everywhere you see those tabs, there's a score line there somewhere. So go ahead and get those. Have a little drink of my pop here. Not advertising for Wendy's, just happens to be where it came from today. Unless, of course, Wendy's like give me free pop for advertising for them. Then I'll tell you every 5 minutes where it came from. Okay. All right. So we've got our score lines matched up. Top score line, or the bottom score lines are the narrow ones. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put some glue on this flap that overlaps here. You have a pretty nice tip on this glue bottle. And sometimes we use glue, often in our paper crafting. We're using glue very liberally. I'm trying to get it on lightly, but I'm putting plenty. You see that? So I'm putting it on lightly, but I'm using plenty of glue. And now I'm going to match that score line up so that, I'm going to match it up so that my corners meet corners. See that? At the very top and at the very bottom we have other score lines joining, and they'll match right up against those. Then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to make sure that this line from the outside is matching nicely. See that? Getting good seams on this will make your barbecue look really professional. So we're going to seek to try and keep our lines really close in as we go. Okay, you got that one glued in? Okay. So we're going to give these guys just a second to go ahead and get that line in. And again, you'll glue it down, you'll match these corners, and then you're going to kind of take your finger. The nice thing about glue is that it allows us a minute to work. And we're going to try and match that line up nice and smoothly there. You can already see our box coming together, can't you? As soon as we get that one piece on there with all our pre-scores, we can begin to see our box coming together, which is pretty cool. So the next thing that we're going to do is let's go ahead and make that box come together, which means I'm going to put some glue on this tab right here. Once again, I'm not putting a thick layer of glue, but I am generously smooching it around on there. And And I'm going to bring my top piece down on top. My score line should help kind of align that for you. And you find that happening? There we go. And I'm going to go for a nice smooth seam there. Having the glue on the outside, I'm just going to gently wipe it away. You can kind of reach in and push that tab up against the inside so that everything catches good, you know. Just reach in with your finger and run that together. Now see here, mine's kind of coming a little bit loose in the corner. It's okay, I'm going to take my glue bottle and reach in there and give it just a little bit more glue there. This is one of the things that we're going to be doing as we go, is look for any places that are not coming together nicely, and we're going to touch up our glue a little bit as we go. So I'm going to hold that for a second here because I really want that to stay where it's put. And I can see that I'm just a little bit low on this seam. I'm actually going to lift to that. I'm going to give it a little bit more glue. I was just a little bit low, and I want my top to be even. I'm going to give it a little bit more glue there. I'm going to move this up just a tad. And how did I know I was a little bit low? Because when I run my finger across that corner, the two sides of that corner were not coming out evenly. Okay, everybody doing all right? Okay, let's flip it up this way, and we're going to glue the bottom of our box. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put glue on all three of these tabs. Again, I don't want my glue to be globby, but I do want to make sure there's plenty there. Trying to get it clear out to the edges. Now, one thing we can do on the edges is just take our finger and kind of make sure that it's nice and smooth on the edge and that we're getting the glue clear out to the end. Clear out to the edge of there. And put a nice coat on this third tab. And pick up a little off the side and run it down the side there. Okay, and now I'm going to flip my box bottom up. And that is looking good. How's yours looking? Is it doing what you want to do? You don't have to answer me. Just tell me stop if you need me to stop.
What are you doing now?
I am reaching inside the box and I'm kind of smoothing those tabs down to that bottom piece we just glued on. So I'm aligning them from the outside and I'm reaching in and kind of just making sure that those tabs that we glued on the inside are all laying down nicely inside. So let me give you a minute to finish that. Then find this piece if you don't already have it out. We'll use this one next. Okay, you ready? All right, we're going to reach in with our glue bottle. And actually, I guess we don't have to do it that way. Let's just glue on here. Let's glue on here. This becomes the bottom of our box. They give us this one so that we can make our box more stationary and a little tougher. You'd be surprised by the time that we put the reinforcement on the sides that they do with the chrome and this one, this will be pretty sturdy. So we're going to take this one, we just put all the glue on, we're going to tip it inside the box, and we're going to glue that to the bottom of the box. Just reach in there and tap that down nicely. Now you can already feel how much more sturdy our box just became by putting that extra little piece in the bottom. It's amazing. Okay. Next, we're going to use this one. And this one gives us a little bit more reinforcement around the top edge of our box. Hello, Annette. So I'm going to put, I think I'll actually put my glue on my edge here. And I'm going to, again, it's going to be fairly liberal, but I don't want it to be real globby. If it gets a little globby, just take your finger and run it around there a little bit. Smooth that glue out. Now this glue is fast drying, so when we're smoothing it, we may find that it dries a little more than we want it to, and we may have to put just a little bit more on. That's okay too. Like I said, normally my rule for you with glue is less is more, and we don't want it to be globby, but we do want a fair amount of glue on this project, because we have a lot of pieces coming together here. So I'm going to take my frame and I'm going to set it on top, and then I'm going to kind of align it like we have with the other parts of our box. We're going to just kind of try and line it up as best we can so we have a nice finish to everything. Okay. We're going to do this in pieces, so like Annette, if you came in a little bit late and you're not quite caught up with us with this one, don't worry. You can do the next part and then come back at the end, finish this before you finish your assembly. So you're not lost. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to do that, because sometimes I know this little part on top can be just a little tricky to get aligned. So I'm going to give you a minute to catch up there. All I'm doing with my little wet wipe here is just cleaning up a little bit of glue that I got around the edges. And I'm not rubbing it fiercely, I'm just kind of picking up any little extras. Now, what I'd like for you to do before we move on to our next step is to stop, look at our seams, and see if there's any place that it looks like it just wants a tad more glue. Like right here on my frame, I have a little loose spot right in the corner. I'm going to see if I can't get my little nozzle in there and get just a little bit more glue under that corner piece, just to tack it down just a little bit more. Taking the time to stop and look for little places. See here? See that little tiny raise I have there? I don't know if you can even see it on camera, but I have just a little area there that's a little bit raised. If you have one of our needle nose glue bottles, this can be a really nice time to get that and kind of poke that in there, because it has such a fine nozzle on it. We can kind of get that in there. Leo on Dreaming Tree, I just want to get their plug in here because I told them I would always do this. The design of this box comes from the folks at Dreaming Tree SVGS. You can find them on the web by typing Dreaming Tree, D-R-E-A-M-I-N-G, Tree, SVGs. And what Leo does in his demonstration is he'll take a little piece of paper, put some glue on it, and kind of slide it into some of those areas that need just a little bit of extra gluing. We have finished the construction of our basic box here, guys. Let's set this off. We do have this one piece left. I'm going to put this piece over with our accents because that's really where it should have gone. And I'm going to set my box aside. Now I want you to get out the pieces that are going to be for our table. This is our table pieces. You've got this. This is our big piece. This is the basic piece. I don't know if you guys can hear it picking up through the microphone, but we have a torrential downpour happening outside. Sounds almost like a railroad car going by. No, it's not tornado kind of sound. It's just really hard rain. Okay, let's show you what I'm doing with my scissors. I have just a little bit of white sticking up here. That's where I have pulled it off of the mat, and a little bit of the base under the silver was still showing, so I just trimmed that off. And I still have in my grill just a couple of pieces that didn't get weeded out. Mostly I weeded them for you, but there will be a few little pieces maybe in some of these grill pieces and stuff, especially once I got up there where I'd been doing quite a few of them. So I'm pulling those out. And let's go ahead and start with this grill piece. Because this is a really satisfying one, I think. If you have any little loose bits of white on the back, it's okay to take those off. Okay, and we're going to glue this to this black frame, getting it just as close in as we possibly can. At the same time that we're gluing this down, and don't think you can just put your glue on here, because if you put your glue on here, guys, it's going to show through the grate. So you have to actually take the time to glue the grate rather than the black. You with me? This is what I'm calling the grate, the silver piece. So to glue this, I don't have any great tips for you, but I am going to run a little bead of glue along the back here. And if you're careful with your pressure, you can run a little bead of glue down between the grill grates on those lines. See that? I'm going to run a bead there, one around here. It's tricky to hang on to it when you get all this glue on it. A little bead here along the front of that. And then I'm going to run some on the silver. Now I am trying to keep my glue line. I want to put plenty on, but I don't want it to glob on. If you get globs, run your finger over it. I have a pretty good sized glob right here where I started, and I'm just going to run my finger over that and smooth that just a little. Smooth this down just a little. Yep, messy on your fingers. Run my finger across there. And across here. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Okay. Now, I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to line it up. Now, I am going to align this. You might find that your black piece is ever so slightly larger than your grill piece. If it is, leave the black at the front. You see what I did there? I had some glue on my chrome, so I just took my baby wipe and I lifted it off, and then I'm taking my napkin and drying it off. And see, I got a little bit more here. I'm going to take my baby wipe and ever so lightly wipe across there. But then I kind of get that foggy film, and I don't want that to dry there, so I'm taking my polishing cloth, in this case my napkin, and I'm running across there. Now see, these are all lining up really, really nicely around the back and the sides, but I have a tiny little strip here in the front. You can leave that, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim that little black piece right off. Now, if you're not comfortable with this kind of detail cutting, just leave it there. It isn't going to hurt a thing. But I trimmed that little black piece off. Now, take a minute, look at your grill, see if we have any little glue dabs showing. Take your baby wipe or your damp cloth, just kind of wipe those off, polish it with your polishing cloth. So we still have a nice, beautiful, shiny grill that happens to all be glued down. I'm going to give you a minute. Hello, Beth. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that because I've glued a few more of these than you guys have, and I know how how the glue kind of seeps out from under that grill sometimes. So I want to give you a minute to kind of clean up your grill because I know you're going to want it to be beautiful. So we're going to give you a minute to catch up here. This was cut, Beth, using an SVG file from Dreaming Tree SVGS. We have a professional license with them, and we are allowed to teach classes. So that's what we're doing here. If you don't already have one, make sure that you grab some baby wipes or a slightly damp cloth, and grab something that you can dry and polish with. I just have some table napkins that are working out quite well for that. Okay, if you are glued down, how's the pace, guys? Are we doing okay, or am I stressing you out? Take just a minute and tell me how my pace is. Is my pace good, or do I need to slow down, speed up? What do I need to do to support you? If some of you could give me some feedback, that'd be really good. I don't want anybody stressed out. This is our weekend crafting time. This should be fun. This should be exciting. This should be everything but stressful. Slow down a little, okay? Okay? Good for me. Maria says slow it down just a little. Alice says the pace is good, okay? So I'm gonna ease off just a tad to give you guys just a little more time. And let's set that grill aside and let's build a box again. We're going to build another box. Okay, just like before, we're going to pre-score. Now, you're going to look at this and you're going to think that can't possibly go there. But see where you have these two little tabs here? There's a little tiny score line there. What we're making is we are making this piece here, this one, so there really is a little narrow score line there, okay? It's probably 3/8 of an inch wide, so there's a score line there. Let's score that. There is a score line there. It might be faint, but go ahead and find that. And then there's another score line right behind it. Score that. These little arrows, they get scored too. I'll just bend those in a little bit. And then there's two score lines on each of our tabs to build that little box. Take your time with the scoring, it's important. Right about now you're thinking, well, this isn't so bad. There is one really tricky place coming up that I'll bet I went through, I don't even know how many pieces of paper figuring out how to do that. I think I've got the directions down now to where I can help you avoid the pitfalls of the, it's not on this piece. This piece is good. This piece is nice and friendly. It's on the lid. The lid is a little tricky, but we will do it together and it will be fine. Oopsie, I got my score line just a little off my actual line there. It ended up too fat, so I'm gonna go back in and find my actual score and correct that. That's better. Take your time on these scores, guys. Some of the scores are not real bold, so you have to kind of look for them a little bit. I'll give you a minute to finish yours because I know that some of the score lines are light. But you can see this coming together already, can't you? If we did our last box and our score and these lines up, you just see how this is going to go together. Those of you who just joined us, go ahead and join us. Okay, Nellers, I'm with you. I'm slowing down. I'm not gluing anything. I'm just waiting for you to score. So thank you for letting me know. We're good. We're good. Score each one of those lines. You have 2 lines here at the back with the 2 little arrows. You have 2 lines on this flap, 2 lines on this flap, 2 lines on this flap, and I know those score lines can be a little hard to see, so we're just going to stop here for a minute. I'm going to have another drink of my Wendy's pop. I think that only works if you're famous, huh? Oh well. You can but try. Okay, are we ready to glue? Let's go ahead. Now, a lot of times when you're doing 3D stuff, these little tabs don't do much. I think these little tabs are fabulous. These little arrows, they're great on this for helping us get and stay straight. So we're going to start by putting just a little bit of glue on that little arrow. I'm going to fold that down. See what I'm doing here? I'm using that little arrow to create my corner. What those little arrows will do for you is give you a nice straight corner. And what you have to do with the arrows is you have to actually glue it and then hold it for a second. So put some glue on your first arrow. Doesn't really matter which one you start with because we're going to do all 4 of them. And we're going to use that arrow to get our corner nice and straight. You with me what I mean there? I think you'll see as you work what I mean. That we're going to stick that in there and we're just going to hold it for a second. Because as we hold it and we let that really get tacked in there good, it's going to help us keep that corner straight. So I've got my first corner glued with my little arrow. And all I'm doing is I'm putting glue only on the little arrow and I'm tucking it up under there, tucking it into my corner and then holding it in place. Holding it in place and letting that little arrow help me keep my corner straight. Got it? I'm just going to hold it there for a second because those little arrows, it's not a lot of surface area to bond. You can kind of stick your finger up under there and push those pieces together so that it will help you get your straight corners. And if your first one let go, they'll do that. Let's go back and push it back in where it belongs. You may or may not need extra glue. Just push it back in where it belongs. Mine let go too, if that's any consolation. And just hold it there for a second. Just helps us get nice straight corners. Okay. I'm going to go to the other end and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to put my glue on the little arrow. Maybe I'll try both at once. I don't know how this will work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to put my glue on my little arrows. I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to hold that in place. And to give me nice tight little corners. I'm going to just hold it here for a second, and then after I feel it tack just a little, I'm going to reach up under there with my finger and make sure that it's pushed in. And I'm just going to hold it here because I want nice square corners. I see one side coming loose. I probably would have been just as well off to do one side at a time because one side's coming loose while I'm doing the other side. So I'm going to hold one side in place and then I'll come back and square up the other corner. Okay. I'm going to do the fourth corner. And I'm just going to push this all together and get a nice tight corner there. Do you guys notice that our lighting is better today? I hope our lighting is better anyway. I have some new lights on my work table here that I'm hoping will help illuminate our working area. Of course, I decided to use new lights on the very day that we use Chrome, so I may blind you now and again. I had my little sample barbecue sitting here in front of my working mat, and I had to change the angle of it because it was blinding me. I give you guys a minute to get your corners finished there, and you can see where we're going from here. If you're done with your corners and you want to go ahead and glue this down, feel free to do that. I'll give you just a minute here to get your corners done. So once again, I'm going to use a pretty liberal amount, but I'm trying to spread it evenly. No big globs. If I get a big glob, it's okay. Just take your finger and run across it. Fingers wash. I managed to get my whole body into whatever it is that I'm working on. I don't know why it reminds me of that, but when Brittany first started with us, she was actually a teenager and she worked for me for a while, and then she left and came back as an adult and works for us again. But when she first came and was working for us as a teenager, the toughest part of her job was getting the tape off the tape runner to go onto the packages evenly. And I'd go in and I would see that kid, and she'd have her hands and her feet and her knees into the work trying to get the tape runner to put tape down on her packages. It was the funniest thing. And of course, being the supportive auntie that I am, I laughed and laughed at her. Occasionally I'd give her a helping hand. Mostly I just laughed. Yeah, I have a daughter who looks an awful lot like Brittany. Lauren And boy, I tell you, if they're standing side by side with their backs to you, it's really hard to tell which one's which. Their hair color's the same. They have a lot of expressions that are the same. They're pretty amazing duo. But Brittany is my niece, my sister's child. She's not a child anymore. She's a full-fledged adult. And Lauren is mine. But Brittany's here. In fact, Lauren used to work for the business, but then she decided when she went to college that she wanted to go out and get some job-related training. And so she left me to go and work for other people. And her whole work background had been in the family business, so she wanted to get some different kind of training. You see what I'm doing there, guys? I had a little place that looked like it was trying to lift. I stuck my little glue bottle, whether you use your Nouveau or whether you're using a piece of paper with glue on it or a needle nose glue bottle, just get that up in there and get a little extra anywhere you need it to get a nice, pretty finish on that. So look for any loose areas that just look like they could use a little more fill to get those in there. This way we come clear out to the edge of our paper because some of these seams really will show. This particular seam we're working on is, hi Pam, this particular piece that we're working on right here and now is not going to show a great deal. So take faith in that. That will be okay. Okay, if you have any little loose spots, it's a good time to glue them though, because we're kind of letting everybody catch up here. So any little gaps, it's a good time to fill them. And we should have a pretty good looking table about now. Now I want you to look at this piece that we just finished and find the prettier side of the two. It's probably the side, the back of what we just glued, where we just brought this all together. This looks nice, but it looks even better from the back because there's no glued seam here. I'm going to use this as the front of my piece. You have that choice on this one because it's exactly the same. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get this long piece here that looks like a comb, and we're going to be gluing it to this edge. Now, I want you to notice something before we start gluing. It will go off the edge here on both sides. They've cut this piece extra long to go off the edge and around the corner. So we're going to end up having a really pretty corner here on this. So when we glue it down, we're just going to kind of glue it in a way that allows us to have a little bit of overlap on both sides, kind of center it there. When you glue it, once again, you can't just put your glue on the red side because you have teeth, you know, of this, I'm calling it kind of comb piece. You have gaps between the teeth, right? And you don't want that glue all showing through the gaps. So I'm taking my little glue bottle. I'm putting a little bit of glue on each of the teeth coming down. I'm gluing the little spine piece. I'm keeping my glue fairly, not globby, because anywhere it's globby, it's going to come out. We're going to have to wash it off. But we are putting a nice light coat of glue. I just realized I'm using my, through force of habit, I picked up my Cosmic Shimmer glue bottle instead of my Nouveau, just because I always use this to glue with. I have to say, I am spoiled with these things now that I've used them for so long. The Cosmic Shimmer glue and the Nouveau glue, they're pretty similar. They're both PVA glues. They're both about the same consistency. Okay, so again, I'm looking for my best side, and I'm going to choose to make my mine, the side that has the two seams. Now see, even with my best efforts not to get glue on the front, I still managed to get a little glue on the front. That's okay. When I'm done here, I'll take my baby wipe and I will pick up the excess glue. Right now I just want to get it in place. I want the top of that comb to sit right on that crease. And now I'm going to come in behind, I'm going to wipe off the extra glue. It's going to look a little streaky where I take off the extra glue, and that's where my napkins come in, or your drying, polishing cloth. We're going to just come back in behind there. Be sure when you do this that you're not pulling it away from its resting place at the top. If you do pull it away from the top edge, just push it back in where it belongs. If it still looks streaky, just hit it with your baby wipe again. These chrome pieces being nice and clean is part of what's going to make your grill look beautiful. So we'll do a fair amount of polishing and cleaning as we go, because it will make everything beautiful. When we're giving a gift, we want it to be beautiful. I think as crafters we tend to be a little perfectionistic anyway, because we like to have everything we've made look gorgeous. Now, I kind of got my chrome cleaned up. I've still got my two flaps just kind of sticking out there. Yeah, the way they let us take these on around the corner, Alice, really does make for a finished look here. And then we're going to lay side pieces over this, and it really is going to have a finished look to it. So that's what's coming up next.
Hold your hand down a little.
Yep. Bryce is asking me to get my hand down so you can see what I'm doing. I was just putting glue on that little tab. And now I'm going to hold those little tabs in place for a second, let those tack good. Then we're going to get out our two side pieces and we're going to glue those on. After we glue these on, we'll wait a minute so we can make sure that everybody's caught up. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two little side pieces on. To me, the two things that make glue for paper crafting great or for my favorite paper crafting glues, is it needs to be PVA glue, and that's like polyvinyl something or other. Polyvinyl acetate maybe? Anyway, doesn't matter. PVA. Make sure when I glue this on that my teeth are going the same direction. And I'm just going to start at the corner we just wrapped around. I'm going to line this up nicely, and I'm going to go towards the back. But the two things that make it good are that it needs to be PVA glue. Why PVA? Because PVA is flexible. And because it's flexible, you know, it's kind of like earthquaking a building. The reason that they don't fall down in an earthquake is because a little bit of flexibility is built into the design of the building. And it's kind of the same thing with glue. Having a little bit of flexibility allows your glue to give a little bit without breaking. So PVA glue has that little bit of flexibility in it. And the other thing that makes a good PVA glue is having it be thick enough to tack reasonably quickly. Elmer's is actually a PVA glue, but Elmer's is, the viscosity isn't very high. It's liquidy, and that makes Elmer's, to me, a little bit more challenging to use. Sorry, Elmer's company, I guess you're not sending me free samples, but yeah. But that's what makes Elmer's challenging to use, is that it's fairly liquidy. Tacky, on the other hand, I'm not sure if Tacky's a PVA. I believe it may be. But it's so thick that it can be a little problematic. You kind of want one in the middle. Now, that's not to say that Tacky isn't great glue. I love Tacky and I use it. But for my day-to-day gluing, I like my Cosmic Shimmer. I like Tattered Lace, and now I like this Nouveau glue too, because they're PVA and they have just the right level of liquidity. You know, they're not too thick and they're not too thin. They're just right. Boy, you sound like you're telling the story of Goldilocks there. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. His bed was too soft, his bed was too hard, and this one was just right. Okay, cleaning up my chrome. So go ahead, if you're finished gluing those down, go ahead and give your chrome a nice clean up and polish, and we'll be right with you. We'll move to our next thing. Get my chrome all nice and polished. I was probably clear out of camera view there, wasn't I?
Probably.
Sorry, I'm not meaning to get clear out of camera view, guys. This takes a little getting closer. So if I do that, please yell at me. Okay. How are we doing, guys? Doing all right? I'm gonna just wait here for a second. Let you guys get caught up. Tell me when you're ready to go, and then we'll move again. I have some exciting projects to show you that are coming up classes before we're done here. I'm really excited about this stamping class. And I have to admit that there was a time when I did not find stamping exciting. You know, like most of us, like a lot of us. Okay, a couple of you are done. I'm gonna give it just a minute here yet. I didn't find stamping exciting because I think I talked about that in the newsletter. I would get mostly done with a project and then get an incomplete image, and I could never line it up quite right, and then I'd feel like the whole project was a failure. I gotta say, these stamping platforms are pretty remarkable tools. Pretty amazing. Okay. I've gotten the grill that we finished earlier that I just got glue on. And now I'll take it off. And I'll polish that. We finished this grill earlier. Now this is going to seem counterintuitive, but it's true, guys. You want the grill part to the back. You have the gap in the front. The front is the piece we just put our long piece on, okay? So you want your grill to set back with the piece. It has this open piece in the front. This is how you want it. It has to do with how the lid fits over and having the color show right. Okay, we're going to glue that down. Get a nice bead of glue around here. Little across the back. Nice bead of glue around the outside. I'm going to try not to get it all over my chrome, but you know, it is me we're talking about. And tidiness has never been my long suit. Don't say a thing, Bryce. He's over here chuckling, guys. You see what I put up with? The abuse I put up with. Can you believe it? He seems like such a nice guy, doesn't he? Ha! He really is, but don't tell him I said so. Anybody who can put up with me for what will soon be 26 years. 26 years next week. Week after next. Whenever the 18th is, that's our anniversary. I don't have any problem remembering our anniversary. I have a problem remembering what date it is. What today's date is. And we're gluing it down. And of course, then we're going to clean up our mess. Maybe you guys aren't messy. I am. I'm going to clean up my little bits of glue here and there. I'm going to polish it up where I got little bits of glue out. How's that looking? I think this is an exciting piece to finish because you can really see it all coming together when you finish this piece. This is beautiful. Okay, when you're done with that, take a look around and say, is there any piece that I need to add a little bit more glue to? Do I have any gaps? Stop, look, add glue as necessary. Clean up, polish. So take a minute, look through, make sure you like what you're seeing. If you like what we're seeing the whole way through, then we're going to be thrilled with the finished product. Okie dokie. Alright, I'm going to set that aside. And we're going to get out our next bit, which is going to be the stack that we created in the beginning that has our lid. For those of you who weren't here, let me show you what pieces you want to find. We have this one that has a multitude of score lines on it. We'll find this one. Find these two funny red almost triangles. We're going to need these. I have an extra. We're going to need the black and the flame. The chrome pieces we can just set aside for a minute until we get the box built. Okay. Did you get all those pieces out? Give me a minute to find those because I know a number of you came in later.
Just show them one more time what they are.
Yep. This one with all the score lines. These two funny looking triangles. I should make sure since I have an extra that I have the right ones. Okay. And this black piece with the flames. Okay, we're going to begin by pre-scoring this one with all the score lines. I want you to just go ahead and fold it on all the scores. Glue all over my fingers.
You're folding them all in?
Yes. I'm folding them all in.
All valleys.
Okay. And it's okay even if you were to go the other way. You've already broken the fibers along the score line. So when you're scoring, you don't have to pay a whole lot of attention to which direction the scores are going, because what we're trying to do is to kind of break the fibers in the paper right there where the score line is. And if I have to go the other way for some reason, it's very, very easy to go the opposite direction on a score line. Does that make sense? Okay, once you've done that, give you a minute to do that, because again, I knew where all the score lines were, so I kind of cheat. Go ahead and hit all your score lines, including your little arrows.
There you go. That's better.
Okay. I want this tab to glue down here. Right here in this corner. I want this piece to glue right here. Intersection of that piece and that one. So it looks like this. And my outsides lined up nicely, which they are. I'm going to glue this next tab to this piece. I glue on the outside, wipe that off. I want this piece glued here. I'm going to glue. You see where those are going now, Maria? These two are going to glue right here. You with me? So this one here. These are going to glue right here. You see them? The tabs are the same size as the pieces that are coming around. Okay, good. Boy, I'm sorry I had that little momentary lapse there, guys. I shook myself up. Okay, but now we have got something that looks like a box on the bottom. Do you see that? Are we all there? I got that part. Yes, good. Okay, so we got our little tabs not glued in well. As I tore mine apart and put it back together. Boy, just that one little thing, omitting those score lines, really messed me up. I'm glad I had another sample one here that I could go to. And if anybody messed theirs up because I messed up, you just tell me and I will use those new pieces. Although it did pull apart nicely. I mean, I didn't ruin it pulling it apart, so that's good. Okay. All right, so we're back to this part. We have this all nice and ready to go. We have 4 tabs on the bottom. Is everybody here now on these 4 tabs? Do you have 4 tabs hanging down at the bottom? Alice says yes. I think Maria's there. You have 4 extra tabs hanging down. We're going to put glue on those. this black piece sort of there, Kim R. Okay. We're going to put our black piece on the bottom of that. We're going to line everything else up nicely with that black. My black hangs over just a tiny, tiny bit. It's okay because we actually have a trim piece that's going to come right down on top of that black where it's hanging down a little bit there. Okay. One has a double fold. Yes, this piece here, see that it folds and then it folds again to create the tab on the bottom. You see that? So we have a little thin strip right here. Is everybody there? Are you there, Kim? Because we can do it again if we need to. Let's see where we are. We're gluing these tabs to the inside. You might be right here. This is where I think you are. This is where I think you are. And then you have those little arrow tabs. They hook on just to this. There's a little tiny narrow piece here. Okay, yeah, yes, we do. Okay. So, are you good on coming up and around? Are you to this point? Because I can pull this apart and rework it around if we need to. Yes, you want me to, Maria? Or you're there? I'm going to pull this apart and re-glue so everybody can see. If anybody's stuck, we'll get you there. Okay, so here's where we started. Our two little... Nope. Here's where never mind. This is where we started. Our two triangles pointed up. I'm going to put glue on this tab. I'm going to match that tab, the corner to the fold lines. I'm going to match it from the outside to make sure it's seen. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now if you haven't already done so, score these two lines on these triangles. There's a score line here. Let's make sure we catch that because that's what I didn't do that messed me up. I'm going to put my glue on my tab. I have my pointy side up. I'm going to match the fold lines. I'm going to match the corners of this triangle piece to the fold lines on the outside. And I'm going to check my seam and make sure it's nice and straight outside. Okay. I'm going to... The part with the double fold, Kim, is down here at the bottom now as we're looking at it. See that? There's where we started with these two pointy pieces up, and we have a fold line here, and we have a fold line here. See that? You have the two little pokey ends, the two little arrows out either side. Okay. So we've got the narrowest strips towards us, the double fold is towards us. And now we're going to glue this piece. Into place. We're going to glue this next piece into place. The nice thing is that the paper kind of softened up where we had the glue before. So if you had to take it apart, it actually bonds pretty quickly the second time. We're going to glue these tabs. Okay. I'm going to glue those there. Okay. I can send you new ones, Katie and Kim. Okay. You have this little triangle here. This little triangle here. Okay. Okay, the paper tour pan. All right. Give me your order number. You can either text, let's see, email me through the site with your order number, and I'm going to get you a new lid. Okay? In fact, I'll probably just send you a kit. You and Kim and Katie. Okay? So you guys are going to be fine. Go ahead and finish it even though it looks rough, and I'm just going to send you a kit. It'll be fine. The main thing in the kit is just the time to cut the pieces, and I don't mind doing that for you because I kind of messed you up there, I think. So Kim, Katie, Pam, text me or email me through the site so I get your order information, and I will send you a kit. Okay, because once we've done those things, once we've done that gluing we just did, now the bottom looks like this. And that's where we're going to glue on the black panel. Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and continue. Yeah, perfect. Finish it as a model. That's exactly right. You may find that it looks better than you think it's going to. Yeah, absolutely finish it. Okay? I always want you to be happy with your class. I never ever want anybody walking away feeling disappointed. We're going to take care of you. Okay, so glue that black panel on here. As soon as you're done with that, let me know, and we will roll forward. Thanks for your patience, guys. I'm not going to send you a new glue bottle, though. You won't need that. I'm just going to send you the new paper. You got enough in this glue bottle to do 4 of these kits, probably more. Those of you who are waiting, take a look around at your lid we just constructed. Look and see, do we have any seams that need to be firmed up a little bit? You have any places that you need to hold it and glue it? Tell me when you're ready to go, guys. In fact, if you'll just kind of report in and say, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, then I will know we can move forward. Kim R. and Katie and Pam, you guys be sure and let me know when you're ready, okay? The really beautiful thing about this top piece is that we're going to be putting embellishments all over it. So even if we do have a little roughness here and there, truth is, guys, it's going to work out pretty good. Okay, Pam says go ahead. Mary says, awesome customer service. Thank you, Mary. We will always try to offer you great service. Okay, hold your piece so that the little narrow channel, see this one right here, this panel right here, is at the top. Set it just like that. Okay, now take your flames and glue your flames down here. Yep, see this panel right here? That's at the top. So set it down and then glue your flames in place at the bottom. And the flames should fit just right. Just tap those right in there. That's our barbecue flame. Okay. Okay. We're good. You see that Kim was gluing the black paper in now. Okay. Katie and Kim, get those. Get your flames put in. And our top will be ready to put some pretties on it. In fact, I think we'll do that next. Because you're going to feel better about... See, this is my rough one. Where I've taken it apart 30 times. No, maybe that was. Anyway, it's still going to look great when we're done. Okay. My top is all wrong. Okay. Does it end up looking like this, Maria? No, I scored all those pieces first, then folded the shape of the box and glued all the tabs on one side, glued the triangular shape on one side at a time, then did the same thing with the other. So that worked well for you. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do. Do you have an iPhone, Maria? What kind of phone do you have? Do you have an iPhone? Can you FaceTime? No. Okay. All right. Let's look at it again. Let's look at this one again. I'm going to pull this back apart. Okay. Okay. Can you gently take your lid apart, Maria? Just gently take your lid apart. Everybody else take a minute and firm up all your seams. Do a little bit more cleanup on your chrome. Can you gently take it apart? Okay, go ahead. Gently take it apart. Tell me when you're there, Maria. Okay. Hold your triangle so the point's at the top. And I want you to have this piece towards you with the double score at the bottom. See the double score there? We have a score here on this piece, and then it scores again. Hold it that way. Tell me when you got it that way. Double score at the bottom, the little narrow scores. 2 scores at the bottom. Now I want you to take your triangle with the point up, and I want you to put your point of your triangle facing up, and I want you to glue this tab right between this point right here and this point right here. That tab's going to come right here. So we're going to glue that tab right there. And then fold it over. Tell me when you got that, Maria. Glue the other one, put the point up. It doesn't matter if this is scruffy looking on the inside, because that's the inside of my box, not the outside. And I'm going to glue this so that I line up with the fold lines. And I've got these little tabs that are going right to I've got my little edges going right to the fold lines. Okay. Okay. So we've got this. Are we all there, Kim, Maria, and Katie? Okay. I want you to put some glue on this little tab, and on this little tab. I'm going to kind of do Nillers's approach here. And we're going to fold this up. And those 2 little tabs are going to go on both sides of our triangle. Can you see that? Where that's just coming up. This back piece is just coming up to meet your front piece. Right on those folds. Hold it in place. Hold it in place. Okay, we should have that one stuck on there now. Next, we're going to put some glue on this tab. We're going to put some glue on this tab. And this next tab is going to glue right there. And right here. We're going to check our seams on the outside and see if we like the way that looks. I'm liking that. Because my paper's a little soft there, it's actually holding really nicely without waiting a lot of time for that, so that's good. Okay, Pam's getting it. Yay, Pam. Okay. Now I'm going to glue my little tab, my little arrow to the inside here. How about Kim and Katie? You guys got it now? There we go. And I'm going to glue this one here. tabs that will fold to the inside, and that's where I'm going to glue my black panel. Okay, I think we got everybody in. Yay! Let's have a hand for everybody. Yay! We got the little buggy part done. Now it's all fun from here because it's all decorating. A little assembly, not bad. Okay, so we've got our piece. We're gluing our black panel down to it. When we have our black panel in place, we're going to look, making sure that this little edge is up, this edge right here, that this is facing up, and then we're going to glue our flames in there. Thank you for those of you who have been waiting so patiently and wonderfully. Now let's see why it isn't going to matter a great deal that we have a few little boo-boos showing on the lid maybe. You have a big piece of chrome here with some holes cut out of it. There should be a little fine score line. Find that score line. Boy, it's very fine on this one. Find that score line. And fold it down, crease it. Okay, crease your chrome piece. Now, I want you to do, okay, cool. All right, now I want you to take your glue bottle, but this is important. This chrome is so shiny that a bead of glue underneath it will show when we glue it down. So what I want you to do is I want you to put a bead of glue there, but then I want you to smooth it with your finger before you put it down on your box. Okay? So we're going to put glue on this top piece. We're going to put glue on our bottom piece, but then we're going to smooth it with our finger before we put it onto our box, because that will keep that bead of glue from showing through the chrome. It doesn't matter anywhere except here on these bigger panels, but when we do these bigger panels, we don't want a bead of glue underneath showing. You're going to center that on this top piece and tack it in. I got glue all over my fingers, so I'm going to clean that up before I rub it down. And this panel goes right here. Just make sure that when you put your glue on the underside, you rub it with your finger first. And you can see our beautiful top coming together for our barbecue. Now we're going to go to the sides and see what I mean. Where this chrome really kind of hides a multitude of sins, doesn't it? And then we're going to put these chrome pieces on the sides. We'll find the one that matches. We'll put a little bead of glue around it, and then we'll rub it out with our finger just a bit so that it does not show a bead of glue under the chrome. It's just that the chrome is so reflective that just even that much of a difference in height will show if we don't smooth our glue out a little bit. There we go. We'll do this side. If you have any extra glue on your chrome, it's a good time to wipe that down with your baby wipe and then buff it up with your cloth. It's also a good time now to look for anywhere that looks like it wants to be tacked down a little bit more. I have one of those at the top of my chrome here, see that? I'm just going to add just a tiny amount of glue under that. Make sure that that goes where it's supposed to go. Holding my pieces in place a little bit so they tack into my glue. Yeah, it's a good time to buff up a little bit. Wipe off any glue streaks. Buff it up with your cloth. Let's go ahead and next we're going to take this piece of chrome here. And remember when I said that if that black hangs out just a little bit at the bottom, we're going to fit a piece of chrome right there anyway. This can actually sit out on that lip just a little bit. I'll show you what I mean by that. See, I have just a tiny, tiny little black edge hanging out here. This is just going to sit right on that. And I'm going to glue this little panel on that little narrow piece there. And I'm going to clean up my glue again. Are you guys as messy as me? Buff it up a little bit. How pretty is that? That's so pretty. Okay. It's natural to have a little bit of red showing here. That's normal. Okay. In your supplies, you have this handle. It's a long, skinny black one that's got some foam on the back. You're going to get your nail under the paper of that foam. I tear it from the center and pull it back both directions. And this is going to become the handle for lifting the grill hood. And I'm just going to kind of center this up and down and from both sides. Just like that. Okay. You can use your strip of little pieces. And I'm going to take one of the little ones. You can actually kind of decide which ones you'd like to go where. I will tell you that I think the biggest ones of these pieces, whether you have gold or silver, some of you have each, but I think that the biggest ones look great for the knobs on the front. You should have like 5 big pieces. Save those for the knobs on the front. The knobs that go on to turn the flame up and down. One of my little pieces didn't have enough adhesive on the back, or I pulled it off on the sheet, I'm not sure, but I'm just putting a little bead of glue under him. Now we have our handle bolted on, or looks bolted on. Next, go to your little packet and find the tiny little diamond. There's a gold diamond in there somewhere. This tiny little diamond, and you want this oval. We're going to put glue on the oval. And we're going to put it, center it in the middle of this ornate cutout on the lid. Then we're going to take this diamond. Didn't want to get glue, as much glue on it as I did, so I dabbed some of it off. And I'm going to put my diamond, my gold diamond, in the center of the black. I'll let that dry a second before I mess with it too much. I did get a little glue slop over, so I'm gonna pick up some of that. So we have our decorated hood. Okay. All right, let's set our barbecue hood aside. And let's get our other pieces out. Let's go back to the box we started with and find those chrome pieces. You should have 2 large ones, 2 small ones. The 2 large ones are going to go on the front of our box.
Side.
No, I'm sorry, they're going on the side. That is correct. They're going on the side of our box. And you want to figure out which side, just like we did with the table, when we decided which side we wanted to be in front. You can do the same thing with the box. Since the box is 2-sided, you have one side that has a seam, you have another side that just has a fold. So we're going to hold it forward, and then we're going to turn it, and we're going to work on the side. When you put these big chrome pieces on the sides, and it is on the sides, not on the front. When you put these big chrome pieces on the sides, put a nice bead of glue down, but spread that glue out because we don't want it to show under our chrome. And then we're going to glue those, just center them on the sides. Now this is further going to reinforce the box. This panel that we're putting on is adding strength to the box as well as looking pretty.
Slow down a little.
Yep. Slowing down. Okay. So I'm back on the front of my box. I have glued one of the big panels to the side. I'm going to hold this down just a little for a second. Polish it up. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the other side. Keeping in mind where my front is, I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to glue this one to the opposite side. I'm going to spread my glue out with my finger. I'm going to pick up my panel. Center it there. I'm going to clean up my little glue overs. Okay. Polish it up anywhere it still needs it. Come back to the front. Give you a minute to do that. You have 2 smaller pieces. One of them has indicator marks on it. I want you to get that one. And I want you to get these 2 little handles They're more of the black pieces and they have foam on the back. We're going to create the handles for the front of your box. Tear the paper in the center. Pull it back both directions. This is especially important on this black foam tape because it's so extra sticky that it tries to hold on to the, sometimes it tries to hold on to the foam and when we tear it from the sides and it tears up the end of the tape. So I found it's way better to take the paper off from the center of this black foam tape. Okay, I've removed my paper from my adhesive. And I'm going to position my handle between these two indicator marks here. Putting the end right in the little loops that have been created there. See that? Now I did find on my machine, it could have been me, it could have been Dreaming Tree, I'm not sure, that one of the panels has the indicator marks, the other one does not. So you're going to make one and then you're going to replicate that on the other one. You can kind of line them up side by side and get the other one on. So go ahead and put the other handle there. And you'll just kind of line them up by sight. And put your other handle on. Come on. Well, it goes about a ½ inch down and just centered. As long as they look pretty good side by side, they're going to look pretty good on your barbecue. Give you a minute to do that. Okay, we've got these little black harlequin diamond things, and we've got two red harlequin diamond things. Go ahead and get those. And you're going to glue the red into the centers of the black. Just center them on there. Black's got just a tiny little paper snag on the back of it, and I'm clearing it with my nail, if you were wondering what I was picking at there. Don't these look pretty when you put the red against the black? It's so vibrant. I think that's one of the things that makes this look nice is the colors, the chrome, the red and the black. And so many barbecues are red that makes red and black a nice color for this too. Okay, when you've got those glued together, you're going to use the indicator marks on the one door, and we're going to glue the upper point and the lower point to the indicator marks. Indicator marks really do make it nice because you can just pop it right in place. I'm going to clean up a little glue. Baby wipe has become dry. And get a fresh one. Of course, it also means it's going to be really, really moist. Gonna need my towel. Dry it off with my napkin. Oh, we've got a pretty door. Okay. Glue our other one the same way. This one's pretty easy to put on, even though it doesn't have the indicator marks because there's so little space to center it in that it's pretty easy to get it where you want it. And I got a little glue around. Are you guys as messy as me? I'm messy. I get too much glue sometimes. Fortunately, we're working on mirror board and it cleans right up. Okay, we have doors. Working on the side you've identified as the front of your box, we're going to glue on our doors, and we're going to glue on this black strip. Put on the black strip first before you put your doors on. It goes at the very top. Right along the edge there. Oops. Right along the edge to the top edge. Now we're going to glue our panels in place. Remember, we're going to use our finger and smooth out the glue because we don't want to see a line there. And I'm going to place my doors just a little, oops, I think I better place it right side up though. Just a little bit apart and set in just a bit from the sides. Actually got this one just a little too far out, so coming over just a little so I can match the two sides. I'm going to put my glue on the back.
Speak up.
What's that?
Speak up.
Oh, okay. Looks like it looks like a tornado hit my workspace. Tornado Debbie. My workspace always looks like a tornado hit it. Okay. Alright, I'm going to glue my other door down. I'm going to take my baby wipe and tidy up just a bit. We have doors. Okay, it's time for some assembly. This is our hinge. It doesn't look like a hinge, but it is a hinge. And on our hinge, you will find, I think it's going to be really important to score these in advance this time, guys, after my last experience with not scoring my triangles. I am definitely going to score these two score lines. Just has two. We have one at the top of this bar and one at the bottom of this bar. Score those two score lines. We're going to take the box that we have just decorated and we're going to be attaching that box so that the top of our box comes up to the crossbar where it comes across. I'm going to put plenty of glue on the back here because this is going to hold this whole thing together. You're not worrying about smoothing out the glue on the back because this is the cardstock. It just absorbs the extra instead of showing the reflection differently. I got plenty of glue on the back here. I'm going to take my box with the front side up and I'm going to match it onto where I just put that glue down. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to make sure that my seams all look like I want them to look. They all look, everything lined up nicely. Is there enough glue at the edges? And I think the answer to that is yes. Everybody with me? Okay. All right, now we're going to take our table and we're going to be gluing our table to this long arm that comes out. Add glue all over that area that we just scored, out to the edges. When you put your table on, our combs should be facing down and they should be facing us, the combs across the front. And we'll stick that right into the glue. On our hinge. Okay, you'll be able to catch up later by looking at the video, Pam. No worries. Okay. And now we're going to take our lid that we just constructed. We're going to cover this back panel again. Plenty of glue. Hold that lid where we want it to go. Get the glue right out to the edges. Take our lid, place it right into the glue on the back, of course, and lift it up. Make sure your seams all look the way you want them to look. Okay. So you're going to be tempted to open that lid and look at your flames. Wait a couple of seconds while that glue bonds good. Let that get a good grip there. In fact, we could probably lay it down for a minute while we add some additional little touches. Grab your barbecue utensils. You should have a flipper and a fork. And let's glue the pieces on. Each has 3 pieces. Your fork has the black fork base. You have a chrome head for the fork. And you have a handle. It's the little funny looking doogie. You have a handle end for both the flipper and for the fork. Let's apply a little glue. Stick our crumb pieces on. I think these are just cute as bugs here. So cute. And put the little handle piece on. Do the same with the flipper. Does this have an actual name? This flipper? I don't know.
Spatula.
Is it a spatula? I suppose it is. A spatula of sorts. To me, it's a hamburger flipper. Whatever works, right? And put your little handles on. The most commonly lost pieces in these kits, if you're not having your handles, I did double and triple check all these kits to make sure that you all got flippers, that you all got all three pieces to these. That's why I put them in the little kits, is because the little gold diamond and these chrome pieces are the most frequently lost. Oh, and then the little round circles are a pain to keep tabs on too. Okay, next, let's look at our black strip. And you should have 5. Hopefully everybody has 5. If you have 4, you can just space them differently, but if you don't, you have 4, look around your work area, because you probably will find another one on the floor. And we're going to put these little circles on this black panel. My recommendation for you is start in the center. In fact, put your glue dots down first. Start in the center, and then go to each end. Set it in just a little bit from the end. And then put a space in the middle. Then put a glue dot in the middle. Just so you can kind of see where you're going. And put your 5 little dots across the face of your barbecue. It's a good time while your glue is wet to make sure that you have everything spaced evenly. Give it a good look over and see. And that one's not quite as even as it could be. So I'm going to move it a little bit, and then I'm going to clean up where I moved it. And I've got my 5 handles placed. The next thing that I'm going to do, everybody still with me? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these jewels that we sent you, and I'm going to put one of these in the center of each of those silver dots we just put down. And I cannot believe how much these look like handles. You know, the big round handles on your, you know, to turn your gas up and down on your barbecue. They really, really do look like handles. I probably should have had you wait until the glue dried on the silver, because I can see as I put mine on that they're slipping around a little bit. But put your handles in the centers of the silver. I like to use the big ones for this. You can use whatever you want, but I like to use the biggest ones for the handle for the gas. I love these silver and gold gems for this purpose. I think they're really, oh, just shot at it myself, but I found it. Which is good, because I only gave you 5 of them in each kit. Okay, once you have your handles on If you have a white marker or a silver marker, there's something really cool you can do here. I did not send you a marker, but if you have a marker handy, put a little dot to the left of your handle, a tiny little dot to the right, and one on top. Low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. The little indicator dots are so cute. You won't have a pen right with you probably, you can do that later, but it does look extra cute when you do that. I close my box back up. And I'm going to glue on my fork and my flipper. It doesn't matter which one goes on which side unless there's an etiquette for that I'm not aware of. My fork is going on the left, my flipper is going on the right. Why? I don't know. But you're actually putting these on the table with the grill closed beside it, so just center it to the side. So cute. Okay. And we're going to add just a couple extra little embellishments here. Let's see. I'm going to put, looking at the number of gems that I have, I'm going to put 4 of these mid-sized gems on these handles. So I'm going to put one there. Because I want them all to match, of course. And I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here. These are adhesive gems. I will tell you it doesn't hurt to add a little dab of glue to them, because if your box is handled very much, and it will be because everybody's going to think it's the cutest thing they've ever seen, it's actually kind of good to have a little extra adhesive on these gems because they try to get away. So I think I'm going to actually go ahead and just pre-glue this one. We're going to put a gem in the center of each of the harlequins. I have small ones left. I'm guessing you do too, since you have the same jewels I have. So I'm going to put a gem in the center of each of the harlequins here. And I'm going to take a gem and I'm going to place it in the center of the gold diamond up above. I just think these metallic gems are so perfect for this. In the example they had on Dreaming Tree, they used rhinestones, but these metallic gems are so much better for it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a box. We have a completed box that we can see our grill. Our grill is probably still drying. can open it up. We can add some shred to that. Some of those red and green or red, what do you call those? Basket fill is awesome. Get yourself some grilling spices. I know that we all have challenges shopping these days, but you can get grilling spices on Amazon. My favorite store to go to for spices, actually it's Bryce's favorite, therefore it's mine when I'm buying things for him, is a store called Penzeys, Penzeys. They have a wonderful online store. You may or may not be able to get something for Father's Day at this point, but check out Penzeys, Penzeys online, and you can buy wonderful, wonderful fresh spices from around the world. And you can, some of them are sold in bulk, some of them are sold in jars, but it's a really fun place to shop for spices, grilling spices. If you're making this for yourself, go online and check them out. If you're making this as a gift, you may want to get something off of Amazon Prime in order to be able to get your spices here for Father's Day. But
Marie asked if she can see the back.
yes, and when you see the back, there's not much to see from the back. You basically see the hinge and the two score lines. The side. The front. The other side. Don't forget to add these little dots. I'm sure you all have something you can use. A silver pen or a white pen works great. But see how cute those little dots make that? And they don't have to be perfect, just left, right, top. But they're just so darn cute on there. It just kind of looks like off, on, high. And I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, so give me some feedback. I'm sending kits. Pam's kit is torn, I think, so I'm going to send Pam a kit so we can replace that piece. An extra piece. I have an extra piece of mirror paper. Doesn't surprise me. We checked to make sure everybody got all the minimum pieces. I was not particularly concerned if there were extras of anything. So if you have an extra piece of mirror, good. Use it for something else. I had an extra triangle too. Let's recap who I'm sending something to, though. I know I need to send something. It's Pam. Let's see, who was it? Kim and Katie. And who else was it that I needed to send the extra kit to? Pam Martin, was it yours, Pam, that was damaged? One of you, when you were trying to work on it, the paper tore. I want to get a kit out to you. Okay, Pam Martin. Okay, Pam. Okay. Yes, okay, good. All right, everybody else got it? Is everybody really delighted with your box? How about the rest of you who are working along? Are you really excited about this box? I think this box is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Mary Robson, Betty, you guys liking it? Yeah? Excellent. Excellent. Leo is a genius. I'm telling you, the people that he has working for him on Dreaming Tree are really amazing. There are some really, really, really good graphic designers there. He actually has people who are engineers designing some of this stuff. And you can see why. Because some of those pieces, you know, it defies human imagination to think how they come up with some of this stuff. But I sure enjoy it. And if you have a Cricut machine or a Silhouette machine, be sure you check out Dreaming Tree. They're a really, really cool company. It's a small business, and we like to support small businesses.
We better show your projects before you run out of time.
Okay, yes, Bryce says that he's about to tell me it's time to say goodbye. Good night, Gracie. So let me move on to our projects coming up. Our very next class is Thursday. I'm so excited about starting our stamping class. If you didn't get your kit yet, get it. We made some more. We actually sold out once. We actually made only just a few to begin with because I honestly didn't know how this was going to go. And you guys are responding as you do. We... Easy enough projects. Okay, you can help me. Good. Excellent. This is our first project for our Stampin' class. In our very first class, we're going to learn how to use a stamp platform. Now, many of you know, and I'm certainly not talking down to anybody who already knows it, but you know, there's lots and lots of people out there like me who had not played much with the stamping platform, and it is the coolest tool, absolutely worth having. So in your kit, you're going to get everything except I did add stickles to these, I have to admit. I did put some stickles on them after the fact because, you know me, I needed to. It needed glitter. But we're going to get everything we need to learn how to both use the stamping platform, then we're going to be doing layering with these layering stamps. We're going to be doing just a little bit of masking when we do this one so that we can have things tucking in front of and behind other items. So that's going to be really cool. Here's an extra project that I made up. We're scheduled to do 2 cards in class, but this is an extra one that I did just to show you more of the versatility of the techniques that we're doing. And another thing that you could do. So I think it turned out really pretty. I'll have a couple samples for you. This is Thursday night. If you don't have your kit yet, order it right away and we'll try and get it shipped right out to you.
What time?
It is, I'm saying Thursday night, it is at 4:00 p.m. Pacific time, which makes it for you guys on the East Coast, it'll be a 7 p.m. class. I'm shooting for 90 minutes or thereabout for the stamping classes. This is next Saturday. This will be a 2-hour class. This is our Midnight Butterflies. We'll be using the acetate butterflies. We'll be using the Blooms kit from Hunky Dory. This one's our shaker. I've shown you this before, but we have these marvelous itty bitty tiny butterflies in this shaker card. It's great fun. Here's another card done with our acetate butterflies that we're bringing into this kit. A little A6 card. And this is our specialty card. Reminds me so much of Beauty and the Beast. So you're going to get everything, including the dazzle, the little jewel butterflies. To do that, the acetate, you're going to be getting some more of these metallic silver and gold gems like we've been using on our barbecue. And then I'm super excited about these. I just finished them over the weekend and I totally love them. And I suppose I shouldn't say that about my own work, but I really, really do love them. For week 2, a week from Thursday, we're using the stamp set from the from the Twilight Safari, and we're using yellow and oranges and red stamp pads, one called Cinnamon, and we're going to create our own backgrounds for these, which looks intimidating. It's surprisingly simple to get beautiful blended backgrounds if you have the right tools, and I'm sending you all the right tools. Your kit will contain the orange, the yellow, the cinnamon, and the red stamp pads. It will include a blending tool. It's going to include some gems so that you can put gems on yours like I did on mine. It's going to include some blending sponges, some black Mary. I am not supplying the cards and envelopes for the stamping classes. I'm supplying some papers that you can use to create your creations, and you can put on any size cards you want. And we certainly all know how to face cards at this point, so that's what we're doing with the stamping classes. Here's my elephants. Here's my lion and lioness. We'll be doing some masking in this one as well. We'll be actually creating these mountains and things in the background using a masking technique. And here's my zebra, just peacefully eating his grass under the tree. And he says, I'm wild about you, in case you can't read the writing from there. This one said, adventure is out there. Aren't those cool? What fun these are going to be. Love, 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 love these stamping cards we're going to be doing. So if you're not signed up for those yet, we have kits for both of them ready and waiting for you. I would love to see you join us. If you do not buy the week 1 kit and you start with week 2, I'm not supplying the stamping platform in the week 2 kit. So you would need the stamping platform if you don't already have one. And you will also need a black ink pad, because I'm assuming that you're going to be building off of week 1. So if you start on class 2, then you'll need to add a couple of things to your kit, and I've got that in the listing. So we've got lots more fun coming up, and I hope you love your barbecue grills. I totally love this kit, and I'll get those out to those of you for whom we're going to supply a new one. And as always, don't forget, if you like this class, you want to see more of them, give me the thumbs up. That's my attaboy that says I like what's happening and I want to see more of it. If you are signed up for our newsletter, look for that later tonight with your recap. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, depends. But tonight or tomorrow, you'll get the recap of this. You'll also get the reminders about the other classes coming up. And I'm getting so many questions about Christmas and hunky-dory. The good news, guys, is that Craftaganza is on the way. We have the kits ordered. They are stunning as always. There are some new designs in there that just took my breath away. I can't wait to work on some of those with you. And we will begin taking pre-orders for Craftaganza next week. More information to come on that, but don't jump the gun and buy it elsewhere. We are on the way with our kits. They are coming. They're going to be a great value, and we love to have you as our customers. So buy it from us. I'm Debbie with Simply Special Crafts. I love you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week. We love it too, Kim.
Voice is off. Just giving it a minute for them to type for those who want to. And we're going to end the stream.
Okie dokie.